Hi there, Tomlin's and I back. This is 365 Days Towards Racial Change. We're at day 213, and we are taking a pause in our extended story time, and we're going to talk about some black first. We like to do first on the first of the month, and I don't want to get away from that, uh, you know, that process because there's only 12, and I think I missed January because January was the introduction. So we want to have as many first as we can get in first of the month, so maybe 11. But today we're going to take a short break from Uncle Tom's Cabin, and we're going to get right back to it tomorrow in light of August 1st. We're here talking about black issues in America, whether it's relevant, whether there's a need, and stuff like that. From our president's recent comments and behavior, I wonder if racism is an issue in America. I had a guy comment, you comment here, I got to get into the comments and stuff. A guy telling me slavery is behind us and all this stuff, but I'm watching POTUS just spew his guts on the nation. So I'm not convinced that we're past racism and the need to talk about black issues, how black people can protect themselves, work on their minds and behaviors, understanding some of the sources of dysfunction and challenges arrayed against black people in this nation through this forum here. So the black mind, right there is a good start. It's a good segue. The black mind must understand that these issues have not gone away since their inception hundreds of years ago. Yeah, we got plenty of legislation on the books and all that stuff. I can come and go. I can work or not. I just live with the consequences. There's the appearance that I'm included and competing and participating, but in my heart, something tells me I'm not. I'm not because my skin is black, and there's a whole different agenda, a whole set of expectations and rules because of that, which shouldn't exist. I'm a human being with a different color skin than other human beings. We're all human beings. But we've talked about some issues we've talked about. People thinking the black skin's leprosy, black people are a missing link between farm animals and white people, and all this crazy stuff. Very sad. Consequently, for the white mind, do white folks understand their privilege than their power? That how easy it is for them to move about and in and out in America and the world. They're all plugged in and all this stuff. It is very challenging to watch white people sometimes because I know I'm having a different experience in America than those with white skin. Very sad. And I find even like do white people have that humility to be like, maybe the black person has some better answers. It's sad that the white people at my work who are in charge, boy, they not. It's not good that I'm a subordinate to them. You I believe I'm better. I don't say that as an arrogant state, but I have a skill set. I have life experience. These guys are 20, maybe 30 years younger than me, and they're running stuff. And I was messing around when I was young. And didn't understand the path I was supposed to be on and stay on so that I could be in control. But that's being changed, you know. But I just want to shake them sometimes and be like, dude, you need my advice because you're really screwing up over here. There was an incident at work, and it happened because they just wanted to stay in their power and control mode. And they didn't want to listen to me. They didn't want to, you know, uh, respect me. And they had something get jammed up in a major way on them, because they didn't acknowledge my intellect, my ability to contribute. You know, they just kept me as some black uh, common worker. I think they know I have gifts that excel theirs, but I made some poor decisions over a long period of time. But with white humility among white people to come to that realization that they don't know everything and they don't have all the answers. That they need to reach out, get some feedback once in a while. Black mind, white mind. Financial literacy is a big issue on my ticket. Knowing how your money works, working out a livable budget. I have a budget. I also give to churches. I've got a few churches I give money to. And I don't even consider myself as really be in a financial position to do what I'm doing. But I'm trying something new financially. So many rich folks talk about altruism, financial giving, and stuff like that. I want to work on that. What's it like? Uh, but not just that. Don't do that if your kids need food. Okay, you know, use your own wisdom. But I got a daily budget that tells me how much I need to make every day, and then I go out, I get my paycheck, I see how much I can spend every day. See how those things line up. And it's been very free. I've seen my bank accounts grow. There's always been enough money lately. It's a good feeling. So doing that daily, day by day, with my finances is important. Financial literacy. That can go a whole lot of ways, and there's no limit to how high you can go. I encourage you to read a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island if you really want to tear the lid off of and look under the hood of America to see how American finance works, not just domestically, but internationally as well. I'm inspired by a man named Dr. Claude Anderson. He inspired me to get on this path, do this work. Never met him. I don't know him anything, but he just has a great message. I've read 3 of his books. You can find him easily on YouTube and anywhere. Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. Black Labor, White Wealth, Search for Power and Economic Justice. And Dr. Anderson's National Plan to Empower Black America, Powernomics. You can find Dr. Anderson at powernomics.com. Now, here you'll see behind me the hashtag #US2 symbol. And find black women coming together, supporting one another. Check out Black Enough, BLAGGENUF, kind of black Facebook experience. And if you can't find your flavor on the World Wide Web, do what I did. Start your own little community, video log, blog, whatever, and see where that can go. Free yourself. And finally, we do have story time. Just taking a little break today in light of August 1st. And we're going to get right back to Uncle Tom's Cabin tomorrow and check on Eva and her experiences. Topsy, Ophelia had a breakthrough. St. Clair's had a breakthrough. Everybody's growing leaps and bounds spiritually as they're of that Lake Pontchartrain north of New Orleans. So we're going to get back to the family tomorrow. Today is our first. So remember our first. I'm not going to go on a big thing. Time's getting away from us here. But I'm looking for the innovator, the cure for cancer, the cure for AIDS, um, first person on the moon type of thing. Very hard to do for black folks because black folks live in the wake in general of black white progress. There's white folks at the tip of the spear, and black folks are just in the wake. Maybe we maximize. We're better basketball players, better baseball players, better football players, better singers, entertainers, and things like that. We have game shows and all that, but most of it is ground broken by white folks, you know. So I'm looking for the first human being to do something. They just happen to be black. Very hard to find. I got a book that says there's over 4,000 entries. It's called Black First, and so I'm looking through that book. And it's hard to find a black first the way I just described it. You're going to find the first black to eat a cheeseburger. Well, you know, I think white people probably had cheeseburgers before black folks. You know, I'll see an education. There's a big section on education. Well, this is the first black person to get their doctorate from Harvard and stuff. Well, Harvard's had doctorate degrees from time immemorial, right? For white folks. You know, so that's not what I'm looking for the first. I hope you get the idea. Your emotions are pretty riled up now about around that. So I understand it. Try to understand my truth and what I'm looking for a black first and how hard it is to find. But today we do acknowledge doctorates from Harvard, um, going into space. Yeah, I know white folks were there and did all that stuff, but it's still a good accomplishment that a black person has navigated, uh, you know, the white gauntlet and been recognized for their accomplishment. Today we just look at a figure everybody knows. Like I said, I'm on vacation, so I didn't want to really work too hard about even about our black first as I'm heading out on vacation. So today up is our wonderful lady Oprah Winfrey, and we don't hear much about her. You know, as any star is having their moment. You know, we see them shine, Michael Jordan and stuff like that, and then they fade away. It's a parabolic arc. You know, they have a meteoric rise, stay at the top, and their lives get um, so normal, being billionaires and whatnot, millionaires, that they go start businesses and stuff, and then they recede from the limelight. Think about Bill Gates. Well, yeah, when Microsoft, when the stock was hot and everything was moving and growing around the world, and he helped get the whole planet wired and stuff like that. To get user-friendly wired, you know, he was very exposed. You know, you don't hear about him anymore. He don't have to. He can go. He's chilling somewhere. You know, might find him on a TED Talk or something to tell us something. Steve Jobs, although Steve died, but that would have been Steve Jobs. Same thing as well. Oprah Winfrey, you know, so we haven't heard from her much in a while. Presidential debates or race is coming up, so you're probably going to see her. Maybe they'll try to corner her with an endorsement and stuff like that. Next year, you might hear her chime in behind a candidate after the Democratic race thins out a little bit towards 2020 November. But I don't expect to see much out of her. She's got a network and stuff. We're going to talk about some of that stuff here in a moment. But Oprah Winfrey today for our Black First. Born 1954. Probably I'm going to work on this town, Kosciusko, um, Mississippi, and she's always been involved with media to some degree. Here's an example of a person. I was complaining, I think, yesterday about my white managers and management at work, and these guys are 20, 30 years younger than me, and how I'm disappointed. But a lot of the fault lies with me because I didn't stay on the path and make proper decisions over a long period of time. Oprah Winfrey did. She got education and all that. So when she got aligned with the media discipline and everything, she stayed close to it. She stayed in it. She paid her dues and stuff, and then she made her little steps and everything until she just exploded on the scene, especially with her show and some movies she's been in, whatnot. So they've got her marked as the first Black woman to host a nationally syndicated talk show, and some of her early beginnings, humble beginnings, was to be an anchor woman in Nashville. Now she's the first woman co-anchor in Nashville, Tennessee, and she eventually migrated up north to Chicago, where had she participated in Chicago, the AM Chicago talk show, opposite Phil Donahue. You hope I'm not dating myself, but I used to watch Phil Donahue a lot, actually. And so, she was positioned well when she came on the scene nationally, coming along right alongside Donahue, because Donahue had a great following. He had a great show. And so that was in 1984. She took over AM Chicago, and that was probably local initially until she went national with that, and formed Harpo Productions, first woman to have this production, first Black woman to have production studio and space, and there again, first Black woman to, not just the first woman or first person, but someone else has paved that way. But we're not going to take away from her legitimate accomplishments. In 1989, bought and her own TV and movie production studio. No doubt attached Harpo Productions to that. You remember one of my favorite movies. I don't watch it much anymore because I've watched it a lot. Is The Color Purple, and that kind of coming of age movie of Celie and her adventures and things like that. Danny Glover playing opposite Whoopi Goldberg. Oprah Winfrey is in it. A lot of other actors are in it as well. Great movie. And she's been in other movies as well. She launched the Oprah Winfrey Network along with Discovery Communications January 1st, 2011. Her first show was February 8th, 1986. I was just about to graduate high school back then. And her last show, 25 years later, May 25th, 2011. And I did watch her show from time to time. She had here's some celebrity names, but she also had common folks on there and talked about real issues, real family dynamics, and things like that. But people like Tina Turner, Chris Rock, John Travolta, Will Smith, Julia Roberts, Mariah Carey. She probably had Arsenio Hall. Um, think about the 80s coming in, late 80s into the 90s. Whoever was promoting a movie, book, or just popular, made their circuit. You find these celebrities when they're plugging a book or a movie or something, they'll do a circuit. Some of the daytime shows, and might find them on a game show once in a while, and of course, late night circuit. You'll find them coming through just to promote whatever their recent project is at the time. So she's got a who's who of celebrities coming through her studio. She had a book club. You get mentioned on her book club. You are a dead ringer for success. To be on Oprah Winfrey's book club. Angel Network. To fulfill wishes for the disadvantaged. She's behind that. Has her own magazine. Forbes Celebrity 100s, and I actually looked this up, fact checked this to some extent, as the most powerful Forbes Celebrity 100 for most powerful celebrities. She's been in the top 100 for probably a long time. As of 2018, last year, she was number 3, held number 1 for a few years. I'm not doubting that at all. Just her career. Some things happen as you work hard, move up, you find how the system works, and begin leveraging some aspects of the system. You know, starting a business or maybe having a great product or something like that. Bringing that all together, and then you start managing the entities and all that. This is something I want to do. Something I'm pointing towards is being in control of entities and having cash flow things working in my favor, managing systems within the system and all that. Excuse me. That's very much, I believe, Oprah Winfrey's story. She stayed close to media production and the engineering and stuff like that. How to produce a show, get an idea to the public, things like that, and then mastering, uh, managing other companies, magazines, networks, things like that, making movies, producing, and stuff like that. You find a lot of people uh, come up out of their circumstances through that route. If I'm right, as far as Forbes Celebrity 100 last year, 2018, where Oprah was listed at number 3, her 2 top spots were taken by 2 white men. So she's doing all right, you know. Um, and the research says that this is out of Black First. Research says that she held number 1 for several years. I have no reason to doubt that. Honoree at one of the Kennedy Center honors, and you really arrived if you're at New York Kennedy Center. Uh, you're being half roasted, half honored at the Kennedy Center. So give a good, great big shout out to Oprah Winfrey, her accomplishments. I know she overcame some personal challenges that are actually some of mine as well. So grateful for her efforts and for being a champion, a survivor, and for making it um, here in the world. Being black, being a woman. So that's some challenges. I'm sure it was some cakewalk. I'm sure doors didn't fly open for her. She had to work hard to penetrate some very difficult, challenging resistance to her success. I'm Pamela's Nyback. That's our August 1st out of the way. Day 213, 365 days towards racial change. Please join me tomorrow. We're going to get back into story time and see what's going on at Uncle Tom's Cabin with the family, and some select slaves are up at the vacation home. Eva is dying, and people are being stretched in uh, all kinds of ways, and wisdom, spiritual growth, and whatnot. So we come to a lot of talking points in story time. So let's hang out there, come back tomorrow, and see me again here. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.